what are you going to do? You won't be able to go to the store as easily. Maybe you live near a store. Here in the U.S., we have a 3-day supply of food, and that's it. Publicly speaking, if the supplies don't come within 3 days, we're going to go hungry, and that will not be pleasant. My father is 87 years old, so he went through part of he went through the Great Depression. He was born in 1925. So he definitely went through the Great Depression. He probably doesn't remember much because he was just a baby or just a small child. And he lived on a farm. Those who live on farms have definite advantages over those that don't. Huge advantage. Farmers that live here in the U.S., as long as they're not messed with by Monsanto and its ilk, potentially at least, have the ability to raise all of their own food. All their food. And most of them have their own water supplies. And they're also not surrounded closely by neighbors, right? So they can basically do anything they want. They have privacy and freedom to do what they want. I would say that I would be considered a mini farmer. I have something in the neighborhood of something around 3/4 of an acre. I live in a suburban setting, and I've been harassed by my neighbors just because I have gardens that produce food. If they were flower gardens, well, they probably would not be bothered. But if I plant sweet corn, then it blocks their view, and they're annoyed. If I cut down one of my apple trees, let's say I had an apple tree that died. It was dead as a doornail. It was basically lumber, okay? I wasn't going to get any more apples out of that apple tree. So I cut it down. It's great firewood. It's great to cook chicken over, or steaks, or other food. So I cut it down, and not long after that, my neighbor complained that I cut down my apple tree because it was in her field of view, right? And she liked to look at that dead apple tree, which I can appreciate that. Aesthetics are something that I prize. However, she actually complained about me cutting down my dead apple tree. So that's what you get in suburbia, at least here in the U.S., at least here in Cincinnati, Ohio, in the U.S. I had a greenhouse in the backyard, partially attached to my garage, facing south. It was a beautiful greenhouse. And one day we had a tremendous storm, and it shredded the plastic covering that I had on the greenhouse. Shredded it. Destroyed every last bit of it was destroyed. All the struts or tubing that I used to build the greenhouse was still there, still standing. And so the physical structure, the skeleton of it was still there. But there was plastic on it I didn't have the money at the time to get a new covering for it, and I was angry. I was bothered that it had gotten destroyed, and so I didn't do anything with it. I cleaned some of it up and I let it sit there. And I also had a red pickup truck, a Ford F-350 with dual back wheels, bright red, parked back behind my garage. And so those unsightly things caused my neighbor to call the police because I didn't obey her and move my red truck out of the backyard. And so farmers have a tremendous advantage over me because of the fact that they have copious amounts of land and privacy. I think I'm rambling, but maybe you're enjoying this. This program's not really meant to be slick, and maybe it'll eventually become slicker than it is, more well produced. Mostly it's just me, my thoughts, and hopefully they're not a problem for you. I'm going on 21 minutes. I'm 21 and a half minutes right now. I'm not sure when this is going to chop me off again. So food, water, shelter. I would suggest, if you're able to do this, to start stockpiling canned foods, dried foods, bottled water, enough for not 72 hours. I would say if you have the space to store the stuff, I would try to get 6 months, a 6-month supply, or a year supply. You can actually buy prepackaged foods that will feed four people for a year for a reasonable amount of money. All in one package. All the nutrition that you need for an entire year. I'm gonna quickly look up a year supply and see what comes up. Well, here's a gourmet 2000 year supply. So a year's supply of food that's called Gourmet 2000 for $4,495.95. That's US dollars. Here's let's see. There's just innumerable possibilities, really. Let's see here. There's a online store called Ready Store. TheReadyStore.com. 1 year supply. Let's see. 1 year meals ready to eat supply. Well, that's $7,248. Okay, that's pretty expensive. I don't know what that would be. Let's see. Here's a 12-month food supply for $9,400. That's kind of out of my range. Year supply of legumes and grains so beans and grains. Here's a year supply. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 5-gallon buckets of food for $512. Here's a year supply of food storage basics for $884.95. Really, it's a huge variety. Here's a thing called the Flex Prep 1600 food storage supply, 12-month supply for $1,789.95. Here's a Mountain House 12-month lunch and dinner entrees for $2,172. Now, if you have money, it only makes sense to get yourself ready for whatever may come. There's a thing called a bug out bag. Look up bug out bag or Bob, B-O-B. All it is a backpack, like for camping or whatever, that has everything that you'd need in it for 72 hours. All the food you'd need for 72 hours, clothing, shelter, maybe weapons, cooking utensils, water, etc. Everything you'd need for 72 hours. If you needed to leave where you live because of some sort of problem that drives you out. I'm going on 26 minutes, and I suspect that this will stop after half an hour, after 30 minutes. So if you go to my blog at survive-magazine.blogspot.com, or if you just type in on a Google search Survive Magazine, my blog will pop up. And you can search on there for, I've got almost 70 articles that I've written on there, or that other people have written. And most of it is just useful information. Some of it is political commentary, but by and large, it's useful information. And I'm sure that you can find quite a bit of information about preparing. If you have any land whatsoever, that property that you own, almost assuredly you could grow your own food. Now, how much you could grow depends on your available monetary resources, and the amount of land you have, right? So, grow your own food. For God's sake, grow your own food. Get smart. Buy seeds. Figure out how to use the maximum amount of your land for the maximum output. Check into permaculture. Check out Der Kramterhof in Austria. Sepp Holzer, Holzer, Holzer. He's a farmer, very famous farmer in Austria. Sepp, S-E-P-P, Holzer, Holzer. You can learn a lot just from watching his videos. But check out aquaponics. You can produce huge quantities of food by growing your own tilapia in tanks and using the water, pumping the water into other tanks where you grow food plants. Huge amounts of food you can grow that way. In your basement or in your garage. I'm at 29 minutes, over 29 minutes. This is going to run out soon. So, my advice is, if you are not ready for disasters, some kind of disaster, get ready. Look into it. Get busy. Make a plan. Get going. That's it for today. I hope you check back again. Check out my blog at survivemagazine.com, or not survivemagazine.com, but just check out Survive Magazine. Lots of information there for you. God bless. All the best.